Hello and welcome back to Retfurb. So on today's video we've got these Shimano XT M737 shifters that we're going to be carrying out a small service on. So we'll show the disassemble, cleaning them all, re-lubing and then putting them back together. So nice and simple today, nothing too much. So the first thing you need to do is undo the two screws which hold the display parts onto the actual main part of the shifter. This is just two small Phillips head or crosshead screws. And again, then underneath there's a small cap on the bottom thumb shifter part, which is just one small screw to get that off. And then there's two small screws that hold a small cover on, which is the access for when you fit a new cable. And then once that's off, you then move on to another lower small piece which covers the main mechanism, which is three small crosshead screws again. Once that part's removed, you then got access to the inner parts of the derailleur. We can then move the cable adjusting screw. We also need to remove the small little adjusting white piece which moves the dial on the derailleur window. So now that's removed, you can then separate the two parts of the main part of the shifter. And now we can just proceed to clean that out. Now I've just used the cloth here, they're not too bad to be honest, there's not too much sort of grime or anything in them. They've been serviced not that long ago, so I'm just going to give them a general wipe off all the bits. If they were really bad, then I would get an old toothbrush or something similar to that, get some degreaser and go all in around inside, but these ones as it happens aren't actually that bad. So I'm just going to degrease some of the outer panels, all the sort of little pieces like the shifter display and the other housing part, the upper housing. And just make sure that there's no sort of residual oil or anything left on there that needs to be removed. And then this is the lube that I'm going to use, which is just a wet lube. I use this on a lot of mechanisms similar to this. It's ideal for chains, ideal for this sort of mechanism on the shifter. So we just need to put a little bit in around all the mechanism. I did go a little bit over the top on this, to be honest, because it was coming out afterwards after I did it and put it all back together. So you don't need to go too mad. Just a few drops and around, just making sure that it's sort of penetrated properly, operating the shifter levers there. And now we can look at putting the shifter back together. So it's just the two main parts of the housings just need to be pushed together. Then the small little white dial adjuster needs to go back in, and then the small cover which is on the underside of the shifter, that needs to be put back in place first, and then that's held in with three screws. So we're basically just doing a reversal obviously of what we did to strip it down, so nice and simple. It's just ideal to know this, you know, if you wanted to service your shifter, or you know, if you had any sort of issues with it, you need to get inside. This just shows you how to do that. 9 times out of 10, most of the issues are down to poor servicing. You know, it hasn't been cleaned for a while. They quite often do get gunked up. Some shifters are worse than others. These ones, obviously looking at these condition of these, they're very good. But I mean, some shifters sort of suffer from it anyway, more than other shifters. It's just the way they're designed. And now I'm just putting the display part back on and just making sure that lines up properly, that when you operate the shifters that it moves the dial correctly. And then we can secure that back in place with the two small Phillips screws or crosshead screws. And then the small lower cap to go back on, which is just held in place with one screw. And then the access panel for the cable adjusting or cable removal. Obviously when you kind of fit this shifter back onto the bike, you will need to remove that. And then the cable adjuster part needs to go back on. So that's it, that's the one shifter down, all done. Now I'm not going to go for the process on the second one, it's exactly the same as this. So I hope that's helped with the procedure for stripping down the shifter and servicing. Obviously this is only a small video, these weren't too bad, so they were relatively easy and quick to do. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video, it's really appreciated. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.